guys, Triple B here. I've got some shenanigans for you today. So in the new set Silver Tempest, we got a really cool tool card in Earthen Sealstone. So it functions as your Vstar power when attached to a Pokemon V, and it's an attack. So for 3 colorless energy, you get to put damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon V until their HP remaining is 100. Do be mindful if it's a basic and then they evolve, they're going to have a bit more health. So if they had 220, you're going to put 12 damage counters on them. If they evolve and they have 280, they've still only got 120 damage on them. So you got to be kind of situationally aware. Just make sure to pick your moment when you're using this attack. And to cheat around the energy cost of that, we're going to be using it on Galarian Zapdos V. So it has a really cool ability in Fighting Instinct. This Pokemon's attack cost is 1 colorless energy less for each of your opponent's Pokemon V in play. Needing 3 colorless energy for Earthen Sealstone, if they've got 3 Pokemon V in play, you need 0 energy to use it on Galarian Zapdos V. If they've got 2, you need 1 energy. So it's a nice way to kind of cheat around that option. It's on a basic Pokemon, it can get set up very quickly. It's really nice. It does have an attack in Thunderous Kick, but we aren't going to run any fighting energy, so it's just got the attack off Earthen Sealstone as far as we're concerned. Once we get them down to 100 HP remaining though, we're going to need something to kind of finish off the Pokemon. So we're going to be running Raichus. First Raichu has the attack Big Sparking. Does 50 damage to each Pokemon V and Pokemon GX. They're not currently in format, but played in the Sun and Moon era, you'll know what those are. If not, maybe give it a Google after this. They're pretty cool. Doing 50 damage, you only really need to use this twice, and you can knock out all of your opponent's Pokemon V. That'd be pretty cool, right? Even cooler if we could do it all in one turn though, right? So if you attach the tool card Telescopic Sight, your attacks are going to do 30 extra damage to your opponent's benched Pokemon V. So now all of a sudden Raichu is doing 80 to all of your opponent's benched Pokemon V. So if they've got 2 Vmax on the bench, looking at you, Mew, maybe they got a couple or they got a couple of Genesects, we can easily spread a bunch of damage on there. And then they've only got 20 health remaining. And there's a couple ways we can cheat out 20 damage. Rapid Strike Inteleon. Quick Shootings lets you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Just kind of be pinging them down. It does take a while to evolve up into it. We're not running Rare Candy, but to get the other attacks online, we're usually taking a bit of time. It comes up and it's really nice. The other way that we can kind of move some damage around is with Radiant Alakazam. So it has the ability Painful Spoons. Great name, I gotta say. Once during your turn, you can move up to 2 damage counters from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another of their Pokemon. Mentioning Mew VMAX, they typically have a bunch of Genesects in play. If they've got 2 Mew VMAX that we brought down to 100 health remaining, we can move 2 damage counters from a Genesect onto one of those Mew. All of a sudden, they only have 80 health remaining. We then use Scoop Up Net, pick up the Alakazam, put it back down. We move 2 more damage counters from that Genesect, put it onto the other Mew VMAX, use Escape Rope, get that Mew onto the bench, or Boss's Orders, or Serena, and then we use Raichu and swing 80 to all the guys on the bench, and yeah, it's a little nuts. We do have a secondary Raichu in the deck as well, so it has the attack Ambushing Spark, does 40 damage, and if your opponents use their Vstar power during that game, does 100 more damage. So up against Lugia, they don't typically run a lot of Vs, they can be a little bit more sparse with how they put them. They don't have to put Crobat down, they don't have to put Luminium, they don't have to have multiple Lugias. So in those situations, it's good just to be able to go, hey, I don't need to focus on spread damage, I can just one-shot this Lugia and go from there, which is a very good option to have in the deck. And it's also just helpful in other matchups. So things like Lost Box, we're not really going to be bringing these down to 100 HP remaining with Earthen Sealstone, and we're not going to do any damage with the other Raichu. So having this just to be able to go, hey, do 40, put some pings out with Inteleon, it's a good option. We can also just attack with Inteleon since it can do 70 damage for 2 colorless energy. To evolve up into these Raichus, we're going to be running Pikachu that has the ability Pika Dash. This has any energy attached to it. It's got no retreat cost, which is really helpful to be able to have as a pivot. We don't need to be worrying about switch so much, air balloons, things like that. We don't need it. We can just attach an energy onto a Pikachu that's going to be evolving up into an attacker anyways, so it's not really a wasted opportunity. And another attacker we do have in the deck for the Lost Zone matchup mostly is Vikavolt. So it has Paralyzing Bolt, a Lightning and a Colorless, does 50 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards. So up against Lost Box, it's just a good way to be able to stop them from using Scoop Up Nets, Air Balloon, Switch, Escape Rope, things like that. Buy you a bit of time, and just gives you an opportunity to kind of go into them. Since they don't have Vs, we're not going to be doing any spread damage. And for the text, since we did have the Inteleons, we do have 2 copies of Sobble, 2 copies of Drizzile. Lets you get some supporters, trainers, things like that out of the deck as you need them. Got one copy of Echoing Horn, so if your opponent's not playing Pokemon V, if they're just chucking them in the discard because they're like, oh no, I don't want that Raichu hitting a bunch, it's like, hey, it's in the discard, and it's on the bench. It's just a really nice way to be able to get that going for you. Got 2 copies of Escape Rope, 3 Evolution Incense and Level Balls, 2 copies of Ordinary Rod so we can be repeating our attackers and getting some energy back into the deck if we need it. And then the rest of the deck's pretty standard, so some Quick Balls, Scoop Up Nets to reuse Inteleons and the Alakazams, 2 copies of Boss since we do want to bring up certain guys into the active, typically Manaphy. If they're running that and preventing bench damage, it's a bit of an issue. So being able to use the Raichu that does 40 damage, we can just take out that Manaphy in one shot. It's very helpful. 2 copies of Irony for a bit of disruption, 2 Serenas for some draw and gust potential, and then 4 Professor's Research. For tool cards, we are going to be running just 2 copies of Earthen Sealstone and then 3 copies of Telescopic Sight, since typically we just need to get each of these out once, and it should just kind of get us the game. For energy, we've got 4 copies of Speed Energy, since we do run a lot of Lightning Pokemon. It's good to get some draw power off of it, and Raichu only needs 1 energy to attack, so it's kind of all we need. And then 4 copies of Basic Lightning Energy, since we can get it back with Ordinary Rod, it's really helpful to have. That's a deck list. If you like it, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you like this kind of shenanigans. But let's hop on ladder and see how we go with this tonight. As long as this is in the active, you can't play any stadium cards from your hand. That's fine. That's interesting though. Okay, so they're just trying to block out path early game. You know what? I like that. Respect it. Sobble or Sobble Pikachu? Yeah, I think we get the Pikachu. Gives us the option that we can throw this down, attach an energy, potentially we get into Earthen Seal. Or the other play is we go into the Drizzile to get the Raichu that if they use the Vstar power, we swing for weakness into the Lugia and just kill it. Hey, Casper, good morning, man. Good morning. Alright, we're getting Marnied. I guess we should have attached that from hand. That's fine. Lugia does run Lost Vacuum typically though, so attaching it before we're ready to use it does run the risk of just losing it. So it is something to be mindful of. Doesn't look like they've got any Archeops in the discard yet. Okay. Alright. Not sure why they scooped so early. They're in a fine spot. Okay, starting Sobble. Nice. Can we get out to a Pikachu? Or another Sobble? Because I don't really want to throw this down until we have to. Can they attack first turn? I don't think they can. I think we're fine. Might bite us. We'll find out in a second. Because as soon as we put this down, it just gives them reason to not bench fees. Whereas if they go, okay, cool, I can set up multiple Serperiors, that'd be nice. I put down more Serperiors, put down Crobats, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, cool, I can throw this down, I can attack for free. The tricky bit though is with the V-Stars, they can just evolve through the damage, so us putting them to 100 remaining right away isn't always the best call. Like, do we go Drizzile? Drizzile to get Marnie? Drizzile to get Sealstone. Drizzile to get Sealstone feels fine. Or even Drizzile to get Level Ball to get a Pikachu going. think that's the call, actually. Let's do that. So it's like we can scoop up net that to use it again next turn. Have the Pikachu in the active, so it's like, hey, if you knock it out, you knock it out. If not, cool. I can use Drizzile again next turn. I guess that's what we should have done though. Should have done that. Makes them work a little bit more, so that if they do need draw support or something like that off Crobat, they have to throw it down, which helps get this online faster. They've evolved up, so we can use Zapdos with Stone Seal to get the value off of it. Just if they're only going to have the 1V, it does make it a bit awkward. There we go, that's better. Much better. Get another level ball. We'll go level ball to get into another Sobble. Never mind, it's prized. I should have checked that when I was doing the Drizzile. That feels like a bit of a waste. Get another Pikachu. Getting that set up is fine as well. Tell me what's the goal of the main point of the deck. So the main idea of the deck is if our opponent has multiple Vs in play, Zapdos, well, let's see if we can get this attack off, actually. We should have just gone that to get into the Seal Stone and gotten these low HP. This is going to boost up his health, though. We've got to keep that in mind. Keeping that in mind, I don't think we go for the Seal Stone just yet. But yeah, the idea is we've got Stone Seal Stone, I think it's called? This thing. Further in Seal Stone. So you get to use this as your Vstar power, puts all of your opponent's Vs down to 100 health remaining, which we can use with Zapdos that has Fighting Instincts, so its attacks cost, what are we going to do here? Probably just get rid of the Scoop Up Net. That's not going to do anything. We get into another Pikachu. Yeah, give me 2 seconds just to play this hand out and I'll go through it while he's going through his turn. But yeah, the idea here being we've got Earther and Sealstone, puts all of our opponent's Vs down to 100 health remaining. Zapdos, its attack cost gets reduced by 1 colorless for each V our opponent has in play. This costs 3 colorless energy, so if they have 3 Vs in play, we can use this for 0 energy off Zapdos. Then we have Raichu that comes out, and it does 50 damage to each Pokemon V in play. So it's kind of silly. We just need to do 2 attacks of that, and we can wipe all of our opponent's guys out. The nice thing about this, though, is we can attach Telescopic Sight, which makes our attacks do 30 extra damage to our opponent's benched Pokemon, our bench V Pokemon. So it means it does 80. Then we have Inteleon that can just ping 20 onto those guys, so we can do 100 damage in 1 turn, which when they have 100 health remaining, they get knocked out. And we've also got Radiant Alakazam that lets you move damage counters around. So in situations like this, where he's got 3 Vs, we can just be moving things around as we need. They do have a mana fee in play now though, which makes it a little bit awkward to deal with. But we can get around that with boss's orders. Plus with this, it's a effect. It's not doing damage, it's just put damage counters. So Manaphy doesn't block this, which gives us time to be able to go attach here, research, get into a boss, get around the Manaphy, which is pretty nice. Interesting. But then why not use Jolteon too? Jolteon V? Like V and Vmax? That's not a bad shout, actually. Okay, so they have used their Vstar, which means we can get the Raichu to do 140 damage to guys now as well. The other Raichu. How much does he have? 60? Yeah, I think we're gonna try and kill him first. Like, we could try and kill that before it comes online. But don't know that we need to. We'll attach energy to one of the Pikachu because it gives them free retreat. And now we use this. They're all down to 100. It's pretty nice. Yeah, and then it lets you snipe 100 HP and just clean it up. That's not a bad call out, actually. I like that idea. We could go with Zapdos and Jolteon. Jolteon is just straight 100 too, right? It's not just a bees. Maybe we try that out after this. That's a cool idea. I just like Raichu. I used to play like a Raichu Barraskewda deck, so it was like, oh, how can we make this work? Alright, so they're using Cheryl. That's a little frustrating. Interesting. Interesting matchup. Wasn't anticipating it. Yeah, it's 100 to the bench bond with damage counters. Okay. And Raichu, or Jolteon's got free retreat if I'm remembering right. Maybe we do try that. That's a good idea. Okay, so now they've got extra 40 HP, puts them at 310 health. Does complicate things. They've got the Manaphy in play. So Raichu's not doing anything, he's not doing anything. Like, we could retreat into this one that does the 140. Which I feel like is a fine call in this situation. Get rid of this other Zapdos. Get into another Sobble. Keep forgetting Sobble's not in here. Stop doing that. We get this, which we move damage counters onto that. Does that speed things up? Yeah, I guess so. Then we can just kill it off with a ping next turn. One ping there is fine. Choose the same Pokemon again to move it to? Nah. That's fine. We can just finish him with a ping next turn. So yeah, the prize mapping here is we basically just need to take these three out. If we can get these guys online, should we? Really? Why is it running this? Under to the bench. Put a boss or cross switcher to make them promote a V, making you get up to 6 prizes. Yeah, we do run boss. Like, we've got boss, we've got Serena, so there's ways to get the Vs in the active. And yeah, then it's just Jolteon, just 100 to the active, 100 to a bench. I really like that idea, actually. That's cool. We'll give that a go after this match. For this build too, I'm almost wondering if we just cut the speed energy for water, cut this for Blastoise, find some room for Melanies, because then we could set up into the Vikavolt faster. Back this in the active. Get rid of that. We escape rope, they just bring that active. Which kind of seems fine, because then if we can get into telescopic lens, we're getting more damage out. Just Marnie this away. I didn't want to research. Let's just keep the Serena in. We got Telescopic Sight anyways. Means extra damage to these. I don't think there's any numbers that really get fixed up by the Alakazam at the moment. I guess being able to put a bit more pressure onto that guy is always good. Because we can kill that one simultaneously, we're fine. Does hit our own guy. Something to keep in mind. Yeah, so 130 there, which is what, 20 from this, 80 from this is 100, and then move some counters onto it, it gets knocked out. This one's got 70, 110 on that too. You bossing up my Zapdos? Okay. They boss up Zapdos, we boss up Kricketune, I guess. Or who has more retreat? Gardevoir has more retreat. Bring up Gardevoir. That doesn't do anything for us. Where are we at number wise? Okay, so we do 80 to this, 250, pings onto it. I think trying to kill this one makes more sense, right? 110 left. So moving 2 over to it. Does it make sense? No, we just need to move 1 onto it. 1 there. And it can only move to 1 guy, yeah? Yeah, 1 to 1, not 1 to 2. Okay. That's gonna get knocked out. That's gonna be very close to being knocked out. I think we might just have it here. Hold this energy, just in case we need a retreat option. Yeah, because if they escape rope us or something, we can check Inteleon up, and if they don't take knockout, we can attach energy and hard retreat. We put this active, he's too bulky to get out, and we want to keep both these alive, if possible. Smart. Very smart. So even if they put Manaphy back out, we can just boss this up. This does 50 to it in the active, we take the last 3 prizes. Sweet. Unless they Marnie. Okay, but they need to Marnie, find a way to get into Manaphy still. Because we've got the energy attached already. We just need to do 50 to him on the bench. Alright, that's game. Sweet. Raichu. It works. Very cool. Alright. Are we able to knock everything out? I don't think we're able to knock everything out. Nah, because we just do 50 to him in the active. That's fine. We just do this, we knock him out on the bench. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. That's pretty fun. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you liked it. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you stuck around to the end of the video, you're obviously enjoying it. And there should be some other videos popping up on the screen. So if you want some more, just click one of these. It'll be a good time. Till next time though, take care of yourself.